Hey all, it's Jan from the Jan Files. It's been a minute. And the reason is I had a terrible stomach virus. Whatever. I don't wish that on anyone. But I'm back. I'm here, and when the fall comes, I'm going to be able to do this far more frequently because both my kids are going to be in college. So right now, I apologize for not being around in the past few days, but I'm here and let's talk. This is the Jan Files, and I need you to subscribe. And let me tell you why. Because independent media, as we all know, is being attacked. We don't know what the underbelly of YouTube is. And I can see that I'm not getting subscribers. Some of the subscribers I had have dropped off. And certainly the amount of views I'm getting is less. So I really need you not only to support me, but I'm going to name some others that I encourage you to support that have better, obviously bigger, much bigger than what I'm doing, but equally as important, I think, in terms of being an independent voice or independent news. I'm a voice, okay? I share things that are new, but I also it's a lot more about what I'm thinking about and what is current. So there is some news aspects to this, but we have to do this because major media has been taken over by Larry Ellison and Rupert Murdoch. We have lost now, not to say that it's a big loss, but it is. Honestly, it is. We've lost CBS, which is a disgrace. We're going to lose CNN because Barry Weiss, the pig who's in charge of CBS and destroyed CBS, is now in charge of CNN. So all of the destruction she did to CBS meant nothing. They applauded her. They said, yes, we're now going to make you the head of CNN. And, Trump approved that merger without blinking an eye. There was no, but no, you can't do, none of that. So this is all happening. And so the only thing that I watch in terms of major media or mainstream media is MS Now. I know that sometimes they can be problematic, but I find they really do attempt to talk about the facts. And that is what it's all about, right? Because otherwise we're being fed this crap, these lies that Trump produces, and all that goes with it. So we need to make sure, double down, folks, on following people. So here I'm talking about Katie Fang. I'm talking about Aaron Parnas. Ryan Tyler Cohen, yes. And there are some like Midas Touch. Midas Touch leaves me a little cold sometimes. I feel it's really male-oriented. And anyway, I don't know. I'm not so thrilled, but whatever. And there are others. There are more on Substack. So that's where I would also encourage you to go. Substack, at this point, seems to be the only platform that's not screwing around. That may change. I don't know. I'm on Substack now. So I would encourage you to join Substack. And, to follow me there is free. Someday, I've said this before, I may have more to put out there than I have now. But right now, it's completely free. I post my videos there, and I will start posting some writing. So, FYI. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Epstein, because something really big happened last Friday. I would assume most of you know about the New York Times article that was an excerpt from a book by Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan. And it was about the administration talking about covering up the Epstein files in the Situation Room. And it was incredibly detailed, like verbatim. So the only way you get that, folks, is if somebody has taped it. Now, these brilliant souls, so let's talk about this. These fucking stupid assholes. You can't go into the Situation Room with the device. You just can't. It's not allowed. So they all put their earphones everywhere. And then they called Bondi, Patel, and what's that asshole's name? Oh my God. Dan Bongino. Now, I don't know. I've been switching back and forth as to when I bet who was actually recorded this. I wouldn't, I don't know. But is it, we can vote on this. I'm not sure I have, I think Bongino may be a good one because he was really objecting to all of this. And maybe he covered his ass by recording. I don't know how long he stayed after that meeting. That should be worth noting. But they're afraid that there are more tapes out there. Now, Bondi, obviously, and Bongino are not part of the administration anymore. But they're right. There is something more of is going to come, whether it's another another piece from Haberman and Swan. I bet they just kind of dropped this like, ooh, this is just one of the things from our book, which I find disgusting, by the way. This should have been, the minute they found out, this should have been out there. This should not have been, an excerpt from the book, but that's Haberman's style. I don't know about Swan, but this is nothing new from Maggie Haberman. What is it? I don't know. What doesn't she prioritize? Maybe the United States and what's going on. She likes to control how she delivers the information when in the meantime, we're getting screwed. Anyway, this is very, very important. And what I want you to start calling this is Nipplegate. Nipplegate, because they were discussing an email that talked about Trump's predilection for sucking on women's breasts, on women's nipples, and doing so to the point where they were raw. This was in emails. It's in the Epstein files. And so that's what they were discussing. J.D. Vance said, hey, let's do it. I'm sure. Let's just get it all out. Let's just release the Epstein files. And the rest of them are probably going, you stupid motherfucker. Trump did all this. We're just trying to cover it up. Or maybe Vance knows he did all of this and he wants it all to come out because who's next in line? But the other thing that none of them, are any of them, I don't know how old Susie Wiles is, his chief of staff, but I'm not sure there's anybody in there that would likely remember Watergate. Because this, in terms of the cover-up, is so much worse. Because the crime they are covering up is so much worse. And we need to make sure that this Nipplegate does not go away. So I encourage you to hashtag Nipplegate, hashtag Epstein files. Let's go, folks. This is important. So if you share this video or you repost this video, make sure you include hashtag Nipplegate. Because we need to start getting this thing trending and keep it alive and not let, all of a sudden, of course, Donald Trump is now settled with Iran. What a pile of shit. We've got nothing. It's a joke, the whole thing. Anyway, so that is what I want to encourage all of you to do. Nipplegate. Remember that. Now, I have two more things quickly I want us to talk. I want to talk about the UFC disaster, pathetic, grotesque event on the White House lawn. If the White House has a soul, it's suffering. It's like probably looking to run someplace else because what is happening is beyond comprehension. That they had a fights or whatever they are that showed people getting bloodied on the White House lawn and motorcycles flying in the air. Like, this is like playing to the dumb, the dumbest human beings on the planet. And then to have that fucking asshole say what he did about Michelle Obama, I'm not going to even say it. All of these Trumpers always say they're not racist. Trust me, I live in a Trump neighborhood. Not one of them is racist. And it is what it is. We know they're all fucking racist as shit. What happened was disgraceful. And I don't know. I just don't know how so many endure this crap. So many Black people have to endure this all the fucking time. And it's debilitating for me, but I don't think my husband will say, no, we're used to it. And how fucking sad is that? But it is. It's the truth, And me, in my whiteness, I'm not used to it, even though I'm old enough to have heard it throughout my entire life. There's still part of me that it just enrages me. And I don't want to speak for Black people, even my husband, because they all have their own way of coping. But I will say the inhumanity of this administration is grotesque. And it's not a joke. And it shouldn't be a joke ever. So anyway, we all know, I'm sure you all agree with me, so I'm not, I am preaching to the choir, but I think it's really important to remember that. I think one of the things that white people don't often do is check in with Black people. We don't say to our Black friends, hey, how are you doing? How's it, how are you with all that's going on? And I think that's really an important question to ask. It shows that we're aware. It shows that we care. And it shows that we're listening. So I would also encourage that. And finally, the last thing I want to talk to you about is kind of personal. The stress of this has been getting to me. And it to the point where I decided that I wanted to get a therapist, because it's the stress, the burnout, the constant barrage of all that's happening, and my participation in it is really had an impact on this. What I'm doing here is probably the healthiest thing I'm doing, right? To share with you what I'm feeling, to in my own way to make a difference. This is important to me, as is the local work that I do. I have got to stop the other social media, because talking to assholes on Facebook or wherever they are, Threads, or I'm not on Twitter. I would probably be dead if I was on Twitter at this point. I don't do that. But I am also going to be far more aware of my mental health going forward, because this is a lot, folks. And I think I'm only encouraging everybody to check in with yourself. I have no problem admitting that I'm going to go to therapy, because I need to figure out a way to let the steam out that's healthy, right? And not, I'm not taking it out on myself necessarily, but I am, in the sense I'm stressed and I'm burned out. And so I'm going to only say to you, I'm going to encourage you to talk about it if you need to make sure you check in and make sure that all of this is not crushing you. And I know I'm not alone, because I've spoken to other people. And I think it's really important that we are honest with this, because we need to embrace each other with all that is going on, and also say it's okay if you need help, and okay if you need to talk. So that's my what I have to say to you tonight. I am going to do another deep dive on Epstein tomorrow, as well as, I don't know if Opus Dei will come tomorrow too, but look up OPUS and then DEI. It's a Catholic organization that has been around since the 20s and 30s. Not all of it is evil. No, I'm not saying that, but there's a group. And there's a group of powerful white men. And a thousand of them are in Washington, D.C. So I will talk to you about that too. Take care of yourself, folks. We will get through this. But the only way through is if we support each other, if we allow each other grace when it's tough. Okay? So take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow.